This is Trisimir, and welcome to my first stream. Long live the Queen. Yeah, if the title screen image maybe sets you off a bit, don't let it. Despite the almost nauseatingly cute graphics, this game is incredibly in-depth, and really, even if it looks kiddie, it's not. Trust me. I have a guest with...
I'm here too, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Reginald Cuftbert here with Tresimir, and yeah, like you said, this is Long Live the Queen, game we've been playing for a little bit together, trying it out. This, you know, he's already said this, but this picture is very non-indicative. I mean, first of all, that's a really hard outfit to get. Second of all,
hardest
there's
in
a
the
lot
game,
of depth
actually.
here.
Yeah.
This game gets dark.
Yes, this is by developer Hanako Games, who've apparently done a few other games, although I've never played any of them, but from what I've read, this is by far the darkest game they have ever made. So, I think we're ready to start up the game, aren't we?
I'd say so.
Alright, let's begin. This is your dad. This guy is 33 years old, even though he doesn't look it. Blame the artists. Also, best crown ever, right there.
It's better than our little tiny crown.
Which we don't even have yet.
I want to point out his crown has a teeny tiny cross on it.
And this is Elodie. This is us. She is incredibly depressed right now, as you can probably tell by the sad face. We will find out why in about 30 seconds. ... Apparently, I don't think this is brought up more than maybe 5 times total in the game, but Elodie was apparently at a boarding school where she was learning something, but circumstances require her to come back to the castle so that she can train for her coronation. Because her mother is dead. There, I'll just say it right there. She died. And yes, apparently in this kingdom you are a legal adult at 15. Welcome to the medieval ages.
True fantasy anime medieval ages.
Yes, although apparently that really wasn't very... That was pretty common in the historical medieval ages too. I know a little bit about this stuff. Elodie has possibly the most facial expressions of any visual novel protagonist I have ever seen.
Well, considering what few I've played generally don't have any visible expressions.
Point taken. I'm gonna have a drink of my delicious Coca-Cola here. So, yeah. We weren't kidding when we said this game was dark. It starts out with your mother being dead. And Nova is our kingdom.
And it starts as it means to go on.
Yeah. Also, something that I suppose should be brought up is this is not blind. In fact, we are following a script from a test run that actually succeeded in our goals. Which means we know exactly what we're going to do, but we'll try not to spoil too much of it. No guarantees, though, because I am pretty awful at avoiding spoilers. Maybe Reggie is different, but...
I don't know, I'm pretty bad with spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, this is part of the important thing. Our dad does not do almost anything. Apparently he just wants us to make all the decisions because he can't inherit the throne anyway, because weird succession laws are weird. Politics. That's basically like the byword for this game. Politics.
I was gonna say, that does seem a little off to me. I mean, it makes sense because we are the protagonists and that is how narratives go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really not sure how ruling actually worked. If I recall, like, You're supposed to set someone up later in the game. Mild spoilers, but you get the option later on in the game to set up a young boy who's going to inherit an area of land, much like you are, and he's too young, and therefore requires a regent to rule the place for him until he comes of age. And you get to choose who to put him with.
Yeah, this will have an impact on the game, too. It's actually a pretty important decision, because things can go pretty sour if you don't know everything you're getting into. I think for those in the audience who haven't played this game before, we should probably go through the tutorial, you think?
Yeah, this game, or Princess Maker, or...
Yeah. This is the most complicated game ever.
I wouldn't say that.
One of them. Most complicated game I've ever played, by far.
This is not Anime Dwarf Fortress.
Okay, I kind of forgot about that thing. That monstrosity. So yes, as it says here, we're controlling...
One of the endings is we get... Go ahead.
Yeah, we're controlling Elodie. She's going to be queen in 40 weeks. And... yeah, we need to raise skills.
And not die.
And not die. Case in point.
Mainly by raising skills.
Yeah. There's about 1 million skill checks in this game. You will not be able to pass all of them, even most of them, probably not even half of them. That's how complicated this game is. And mood. Mood is also incredibly important because while there are very few, I can probably count them on one hand, times in the plot where mood will force you into specific choices, your mood impacts your rate at learning skills. Ergo, it is incredibly important. And I can't believe I actually just said that.
Should we point out what ending we're going for?
I don't know, I figured... what the heck, why not? Basically, we aren't aiming for specific endings per se, because the ending is a very multifaceted thing. However, we are aiming for specific achievement, which is, for those of you who know anything about this game, we are aiming to win the rather infamous naval battle late in the game, without using magic. Well, there is magic involved, but not the kind of magic that summons Cthulhu. We might get to that in another stream.
We might. Yeah, he actually brings up a good point. This game is really neat in that the ending, like he said, is multifaceted in that there's different aspects, there's different territories, there's different events that come up that kind of describe certain the relationship of your kingdom with other neighboring kingdoms or with the nobles within it, the technological progress of your kingdom, both medical and magical, and the lives of certain individuals. It's much like the ending of, say, Fallout New Vegas.
Yes, that's a very good comparison. Yeah, there's tons of different stuff that happens in the ending.
Yeah, at the very end, you've got multiple different ways that these different factions and people, their lives can go, depending on your choices, assuming you're not dead already.
Yeah. Also, mood. This is the mood screen, and this seems pretty complicated from what I've seen of other people playing this game that aren't us, because I kind of figured it out somehow. People tend to get this wrong a lot. Basically, there's this ribbon, which is the, basically, 0 value. Each of these columns is diametrically opposed. For example, you cannot be both angry and afraid. Whichever bar is furthest from the 0 line, in either direction, is your dominant mood. So, like, for example, willful and yielding and pressured and lonely are at the 0 point, so they really don't do anything right now. We have 2 afraid, but 4 depressed. So Elodie's dominant mood is depressed right now. As it says here. It doesn't say how it's calculated. But it gives a basic. The important thing to note is that if two moods are tied for the greatest severity, whichever one is furthest to the left will take priority. So, if we manage to get too cheerful or -2 depressed or any combination of that to get cheerful and depressed and angry and afraid up to this point, then our dominant mood would be afraid because it's further to the left. This tends to trip up a lot of people that I have seen.
Alright, so let's continue forward. We'll learn more about it.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're going to be finagling the mood, because different moods give you different bonuses and penalties to skill growth. And the main thing is we're going to keep to a couple specific moods.
Yeah, we'll do whatever mood has works in our test run.
Exactly.
And we have a log to follow, thankfully.
One of the funny things, one of our test runs, we kept her depressed for about 3/4 of the game, and then she got stabbed with a sword.
Yeah. Blame Reggie. So yeah, this is the skills screen. As you can see, there's a metric buttload of these things. Something that was not in early versions of the game is it shows your current mood up here. It always did that, but in early versions of the game, it did not show your bonuses and penalties. You had to read through these entire lists and determine what you had bonuses and penalties to. Also, notice that it kind of extends down here beyond the dialogue box. Yeah, there's another 2 skills that are hidden by this tutorial box. And we'll get
Faith and Lumen.
Lumen being magic. Anyway, we'll get into another aspect of skills when we start training them up. Yeah, this is important. You get your 2 skills that you can study per week, and basis of 2 points for every weekday. So, assuming you have no bonuses or penalties to a skill, and you've never trained any part of that parent skill, for example, medicine or economics, before, you will get 10 points. Penalties will ruin your day if you don't keep a handle on them. For example,
It says right here, penalties are additive. Take that number that you see, that minus or plus, and multiply it by 5. So -2 means you learn nothing.
Yeah, which I have seen people screw themselves over by just taking skills that they were penalized in because they're important skills, but they didn't manage the mood correctly. However, every mood, with the exception of one that isn't really a mood, but more of a condition that we won't be getting, because it only happens if you fail a check that we're not going to fail, also gives a bonus. So while we have the annoying penalties to royal demeanor and conversation right now, and athletics, but we can't see that because it's behind the bubble, we have bonuses to expression and animal handling. So being depressed is not necessarily a bad thing. Disclaimer, that is not the case in real life. If you have depression, please get it fixed.
Alright, so let's move on.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time here in the tutorial.
Yeah. Just want people to know what the heck is going on. The class thing, this is actually the most self-explanatory part of the game, right here.
You pick your classes, you get 2 every week, and each of them raise your stats based on the bonuses or penalties you've got at the moment, as well as small bonuses for having the related stats already boosted somewhat.
And even other stats in the same category. For example, intellectual, social. These bubbles are exceedingly important. These bubbles will tell you changes to your mood, and they will tell you whether you passed or failed, or in rare cases got a partial success on skill checks. And as it says, very helpful. I do not know why people would want to turn that off. That seems like a recipe for disaster to me. But who knows? I have only had this game for like 3 days. Alright, now we start. Alright. one thing I would like to point out is that Royal Demeanor is the hardest skill in the game to raise. There are only 3 moves out of the potential 8 that do not penalize it, and only one of those gives a bonus. Want to throw that out there right now. Alright, so now let's start with the classes. Despite what I just said about penalties ruining your day, for what we're doing, we need Composure by week 3. As you can see, our timer is up here. So we need to take 1 in Composure, and for another thing, Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs isn't penalized by being depressed, thank God.
So yeah, we pick these, and then we click Done, and we move on. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, we get the...
Way too long to spend on week 1.
Yeah. Also, cool thing if you play this game yourself, you get a little flavor text for every 10 points you get in a skill. We're not going to be going over that, though, because that would take too long. And apparently we have a visitor. Cousins, aunt, uncle. And hi, Lucille. This is our aunt. I guess I should say, there's little bio things here. They're not really important because they tell you basically nothing, except who's related to who, which is kind of important, something like this. Oh. So yeah, they came to console us on the loss of our mother. Our uncle looks sick and or tired. And our cousin has these soul-eating, piercing red eyes. She is not evil, somehow.
Spoiler, she's not a complete asshole.
Yeah, which is more than can be said for a lot of people in this game. So, our Aunt Lucille, our Uncle Laurent, and our cousin Charlotte. And apparently they're going to be here all month. And this +1 cheerful is automatic. You will always get that when Charlotte shows up. So let me consult the log. Alright, here we want to take a walk in the gardens. It will make us more lonely, but also give us some cheerful, and that's important for getting out of this crippling depression. Also, for those playing along, you can see her mood down there. See, we managed to, from the +1 cheerful from Charlotte and +1 from the gardens, we got to get our dominant mood to be afraid. Which means less royal demeanor penalty. However, our intrigue is penalized now. So, this time we want to study court manners, because in week 5, having 10 court manners is important. And the other one we want to do is public speaking. So, taking classes, blah, 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 blah. And
also, yeah, at every multiple of 10, you get a little flavor text for that particular skill.
Interestingly,
some of them are actually relevant to the skill checks they let you pass.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Also, Juliana, holy crap, bright blue hair. I guess you gotta have blue hair. Also, our dad hates her guts. Apparently she killed our mother, but yeah. Yes, she is a Lumen. Apparently our mother was also a Lumen, so everybody's magic here. Actually, no, not even close. And Dad and Juliana are getting into a verbal sparring match.
Someone just pointed out that they keep misreading Jocelyn's name or title as King Donggagger.
Of course, I should have known somebody would do that, but hey. Alright,
It's funny, because he's one of the few non-jerkish people.
I know. He's probably the least jerkish person you will ever meet in this game, except maybe Charlotte. Alright, here...
so we've got 3 ways we can handle her.
We can send her away, which will kind of screw with us if we do that. We can arrest her, which leads to some other things we're not saying, because we are going to let her stay. And we get +1 willful, and Elodie's willful face looks kind of evil for a 14-year-old girl. Maybe that's just me. And Dad doesn't really complain too much. So now we're going to visit Charlotte, because, spoilers, she'll help take off that one lonely we got from taking a walk in the gardens last week. And
Yeah, Elodie's willful face.
yes. Also, apparently, well, it makes sense, Charlotte. This room is bigger because I'm the fucking princess. Every room here is bigger. And more depressed face. And apparently Lucille is an overprotective mother. I guess that's kind of understandable considering that this game has more intrigue than... I can't even think of a good comparison. But yeah, there's a lot of intrigue going on here.
If I wanted to be really tried, I'd call this an anime Game of Thrones.
Actually, that is probably the closest you will get to a decent comparison. Alright, now, we still want to do another in court manners, but we need another composure. We're still penalized on royal demeanor, but we need this because it's this week that we need composure 10. More flavor text. Great, composure 10.
Also, a little bit more boring mechanics talk. One good thing to do in this game is to, if you know something's coming up, spread out training that over, like, once per week, because you get bonuses depending on how much you've already trained that skill and its related skills, but those bonuses don't count for the second training that week, so you'll get the same amount doing it twice in a week, but you'll get slightly more if you space it out.
Yes. Also, Charlotte's playing with flowers, and Juliana's pointing a sword at us. Or at our feet. No, don't chop my feet off.
This is what happens when I talk about mechanics. We get killed.
See, if you look down, you automatically fail this. So instead, we'll hold still and do the composure check versus 10. If you failed that, then you would look down anyway, and something bad would happen. This snake would bite Charlotte. But now it's dead. And she is screaming like a little girl, but then again, she is one. Yes, snake. And Juliana's awesome. Also, apparently that snake is really poisonous. And shouldn't have been here in the first place. Suspicious. And then Lucille and Loren and Charlotte book it. Because like, nope, snake, not staying here. And now, I guess we'll go to our mood. Yeah. Our mood, we're still pretty afraid right now. So, this won't help with the afraid, but hey. Let's let Elodie actually do some kid stuff.
Oh, do we need yielding?
Yes. Yielding will be important, because yielding is the one mood that boosts royal demeanor. Alright. Now it's week 4. Once again, we need court manners and public speaking. See, this would be different if Charlotte had been bitten by the snake. There would be a poisons check versus 40 to realize that milk viper bites are usually fatal. But instead, we get an absolutely useless week. Or weekend. Now we'll attend services. Attending services is basically a balancer. It will take one off of whatever is highest out of afraid, angry, cheerful, or depressed. So now, more court manners and public speaking. See, I don't even actually remember why we were doing this. I'm just following my log. Also, important thing to note, because court manners is approaching 50. You cannot raise a skill past 50 unless the other 2 skills in that category are at least 25. And this is why we needed court manners at least 10.
Yeah.
The Duke of Sedna is sending people. We have a Duke of Sedna? No, Elodie. No, we don't. Talace is a neighboring kingdom. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah. More political talking. And necklace. If you didn't have court manners at least 10, Elodie would just put this on without thinking anything of it. When really, well, it's a dude sending her jewelry. What do you think people are gonna think about it? We do not want to wear it, because that will increase our yielding. Also, we don't want to get tangled up with this guy. And this time, we will attend court. Because that is the biggest yielding boost you will get from weekend events. See, now we're yielding. Yielding, a lot of people seem to think that it's more of a, kind of the doormat mood. I don't believe it is. I think it's more of supposed to be like one of propriety, kind of how a proper queen is supposed to act. Which would explain why it gives the bonus.
Solomon?
Kind of, yeah. Which, I guess...
So yielding is the baby ripping mood.
Not quite. Not that form of the King Solomon thing. Okay, now since we actually get a bonus to our royal demeanor, thank God, we can train in composure and elegance. Which these are important because even though we won't need exceptional amounts of these immediately, we want high presence soon. And we need to get these up to 25 in order to increase it past 50. And Celine. Celine is... we probably won't be seeing very much of her. As you can tell, she's a priestess. And she's basically telling us to talk to Juliana. She will help you do things. And the things she will help us do are very useful indeed. So hey, let's go talk to Juliana! Also, I keep misreading Ursula as Ursula for about 5 seconds. Apparently, I watched too much Disney as a kid. Yes, every lumen has a crystal. You bond with the crystal, and it will, I guess, become part of you or something until you die. And the kings and queens of Nova have been lumens for centuries. But, of course, after our mother died, apparently our dad isn't letting us have the crystal. He hates lumens. So, yeah, as she's saying, no one can take a luminous crystal until they die. And so we need to find our own crystal. So now, another class in elegance and presence. We can finally start training up our presence. Presence will actually be important pretty soon. Alright. Thankfully, the yielding bonus is... the yielding bonus is so helpful in this game. Also, this would be elegance or reflexes. If we failed the elegance check, we'd get to test reflexes against 10 to avoid having this maid smack into our face. There are actually certain things where you might want to let that happen, but we're not playing that way right now. Okay, and now, well, the king, our dad, is hiding the crystal from us, so let's go talk to him. This can actually, despite the somber music, be a funny conversation. Can I have the crystal?
It really is.
Can I have it? No. But it's mine!
What? You're gonna die.
Yeah, we got a willful for that, unfortunately, but... hey, the log says do it.
Yielding, which...
yeah. Yielding is what we want for now, while we're increasing presence. And apparently magic is what killed our mother, so it wasn't Juliana, it was magic in general. Thankfully, we're still yielding.
Yeah.
So now, Reggie said that not doubling up on skills is a good idea, but in this case, we will need presence high very soon. So we need to double up on presence this time.
Yep.
And outfits. When you I believe it's when the total of the 3 skills in a parent skill, I guess, total 100, you unlock an outfit for that skill, which, while you have it equipped, it will increase all your skills by an effective 10.
It's very nice.
You need that. It is necessary.
And if you know what's coming up, you can put on the right outfit ahead of time and be able to save yourself like a day or 2 of training.
Very useful. Also, there's a guy who apparently plans to build a printing press. This is annoying because while it can be helpful later in the game, this requires a total of production and trade against 50. Which is kind of ridiculous for this early in the game when there's more important things to be focusing on, like, say, presents. So we fail it, and that means we don't even get the option to invest in it. Oh well, not really necessary. So we're going to attend the service again to decrease our afraid. And first, before we do anything else, outfits. This is a cool outfit, I think. Also, I like the fact that not every outfit in this game is incredibly fan-servicey.
In fact, most of them are pretty good.
I think there's like 2 that really have almost any form of fan service at all. Which makes sense, Elodie is 14! So, yes, elegance and presence. This is a thing we need. Yeah, you can tell that thanks to training in this before and having the yielding bonus, our royal demeanor skills are going through the roof. Meet Banyan. This guy, depending on how you play, can be really important. Also, he looks like a douche.
Looks like he's just barely hiding a mole under that ascot.
Yeah. Apparently there's a foreign country who's been occupying a county, and we don't have the foreign affairs to deal with this stuff. And we don't know anything about the military either, so we can't choose to go into battle. So instead, we'll do some diplomacy. Hooray for diplomacy. And he's hitting on us. Yes. Yes, we get yielding, and Banyan starts hitting on us like, he's almost as old as my father! Elodie's terrified face there fits perfectly. So now, since we know that our dad's still hiding the crystal, let's go talk to Juliana and see what we can learn about that. Can't have the crystal until we're queen, because I don't know, he still hates lumens. And we apparently really need that crystal because this world is even more dangerous than your typical medieval fantasy world, or something like that. Yeah, the treasury. The treasury is one half of why we needed massive presents. Also here, this tripped me up for the longest time. You will want to say, what drastic action? Because otherwise you get a willful, and asking this doesn't actually have Juliana do anything. She just, let's hope it doesn't come to that, which it won't, because Elodie is fantastic. So now we need more elegance. Our presence is as high as we need it for now, so let's go with public speaking. Thank God for the yielding bonus. Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. Since our skill in public speaking is 50, we have to increase the other conversational skills to at least 25 before we can continue increasing this one.
Yep.
It's annoying, and it's kind of an artificial limiter, but I guess it makes sense. You can't just over-specialize in one thing with that and not have any grasp of the related things. We have the full support of Banyan and his sister, who is soon as all hell. Meet Brin.
Oh, Brin.
We'll find out more about Brin later.
Yeah. She actually plays quite a bit into things, but kind of along the sidelines.
She can be pretty important. Alright, so
Yes,
this diplomat...
she's going to be important for us.
Yeah. This diplomat... Yeah, this diplomat is... not being an ass, thankfully. Okay, we failed about 6 checks here. But that isn't even necessary. Because... we can just have Eleni give him the evil eye. And threaten to attack. This, I believe, is a presence check versus 60. Once again, part of the reason we needed pretty high presence. Because this is early in the game. This is about the... I think this is about a fourth of the way through the game. Yeah, this game is really short. Like, you can beat this game in 2 hours. And now we have access to the treasury because Juliana told us about it. So let's go there and give the guards the evil eye. So, as being a treasury, there's shiny things everywhere, but we need a particular shiny thing, so let's get the shiny thing. Alright. So now we need to study flattery, because it's the one conversation skill we don't have decently high, and go back to intrigue for internal affairs. Because we're going to need that.
A good point here. She's a 14-year-old in a dress taped to her chest to keep it up, giving the evil eye.
Yeah.
It's probably not a good idea to fuck with her.
Yeah. Trust me, Elodie will get more badass than that throughout the game.
Oh boy, if we weren't completing the naval battle, she would be pretty personally badass. But as it stands, she's going to be a badass boat general.
I believe the term is admiral, but yes. Also, Keithong. That is the dumbest name! That is the dumbest name for a mythical creature I have ever heard of. Also, those checks are pretty high.
Shackles is in my thong.
But yeah, I mean, think of... Okay, take a look at the description of this thing. Does that not sound terrifying? It's an eldritch monstrosity bird cat.
And spikes on its back.
Yeah. You know, because everything is more menacing with spikes. Just ask Dwarf Fortress. So apparently, a couple people have already died to this thing, and Elodie wants to send hunters after it. Nope! We're just supposed to ignore it. Because apparently, trying to hunt this thing would just piss it off. It's like rad scorpions in Fallout. They just get mad if you shoot them. So yes, everyone dies in the end. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Thanks for that great vote of everything's gonna turn out fine in the end. No wonder we get +1 depressed. Well, let's get rid of that by attending the service. Yes, I know we have the crystal. We could go talk to Juliana, but we're not supposed to do that yet. For week 12, more flattery and more internal affairs.
So we've had this dress on for a while, and I haven't pointed it out, but that crown is tiny as crap.
I know, it reminds me of those little mini top hats you see. I don't know why people wear those, because they look silly. But also, we got another new outfit. We got our conversation outfit. And more crowdfunding. This one is, I think, herbs and battlefield medicine 50 instead of herbs, instead of production and trade. And Elodie has no knowledge of medicine whatsoever, so yeah. She's kind of the royal ditz sometimes. Note that both the printing press and the hospital will have their own ending slides. If you funded them, but we didn't. So this time, we're actually supposed to go visit the tomb. So let's get more depressed and more afraid! But we're still yielding. And, you guessed it, More flattery, more internal affairs. We won't actually need it, but next week I will show off we will show off the conversation outfit. We won't be keeping it on. But...
We're learning flattery and internal affairs, so we're essentially learning that everyone is an absolute asshole in our court, and at the same time learning that we should make them happy anyway.
Yeah, basically. And oh great, murder. Also, this guy. One look at that face, and you can tell that this guy's an asshat. Yeah, Kevin.
Wait, I think I've seen him in Fruits Basket. Good lord, I just admitted to watching Fruits Basket.
Well, I've never seen it.
Good.
And we have no idea. We don't know history at all, so.
The Duchess of Alcohol. Is she alright?
Well, apparently this lady didn't actually poison anybody, so. And either the Earl of Eo's court or family or whatever, or the Duchess of Meads killed her brother. And apparently said that he joined the army when he was dead. Sorry about that.
Joined the ranks of their undead army.
And yeah, so that's this lady explaining herself, and this guy's like, nope, kill her. Don't care. No, doesn't matter. Kill her. And this internal affairs check, we got a partial success for having internal affairs 40. In order to get a full success, you need 100. You have to have internal affairs max out.
Yeah, that's a little unreasonable.
That's the first check that's that high in the game. They'll become kind of common later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently the last Duke of Mead had some screwball stuff. This unlocks the option to ask the Earl about her story, but since we don't have court manners 60, he'll just kill her himself. So instead, we'll put her to work. Which is pretty merciful, I guess. No asshat.
Oh, there is no such thing as New Game Plus in this game. They're simply taking what you've learned and starting over and trying it a different way.
Yeah, but this still has enough replay value to make that worth it. Plus,
oh yeah, it's definitely got a lot of branches. There's a lot of stuff that you'll miss no matter what you do on your first playthrough.
Yeah, you cannot do even close to everything in this game on one playthrough. Also, for those of you who might be interested in this game, at the moment it is on Steam. It is on sale for about $6. So, might be worth picking up if you're interested.
Yep.
Also, now,
and even if not, we can help sate your thirst for dead anime girls.
Yes, hopefully we won't die too often. Hey, we got that Lumen Crystal. So, we do this, and... Sailor Moon! Basically. We get a really low-budget Sailor Moon transition.
Alright, the next minute is just gonna be me singing the theme.
Please don't.
Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight, she is the one named Sailor Moon. Okay, it's enough.
And now we're afraid again because